Our next enshrinee is one of the best female athletes to ever play sports in this area. I say sports because while Jill Gomric Dalke made her most lasting mark playing golf, as you see by some of these slides tonight, she was happy to be playing just about any sport. At Belleville's Althoff High School, Jill not only was Illinois State Girls Golf Champion of 1994, but was also second-team All-State in basketball in 1996. After high school, golf then took her to the University of Arizona to play golf there. A good recruit for the U of A, as she was first-team All-Pac-10, an honorable mention All-American, and played on the Arizona Women's NCAA Championship team of the year 2000. Jill also qualified for and played in 4 LPGA events. Please see her many other accomplishments in tonight's program. Now, please help us welcome into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame with your applause, Jill Gomric Dalke.
So once again, if you're here for Jill Gomric tonight, let's hear it again. Let's hear it. The Gomric Dalke.
A lot of friends and family. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Is there, before we get going, is there anyone you'd like to single out first?
Oh, my husband, my 4 kids, the rest of my family, my parents. Wow.
It's amazing.
I mean, unbelievable the turnout. I really, really appreciate you guys coming. I was shocked when I walked in and saw all these people. It was a nice surprise, but, much appreciated. Love you all.
But the showstopper has to be the shoes.
Well, I thought I'd wear something unique, and really it's just any excuse not to wear heels, right, girls?
So when I called Jill to tell her that she was in, she says, "What is that?" He says, "Is it anything very big?" And I said, "Well, we'll wait and see." And fortunately, your family, your friends, and all the folks here that know you, everybody's here to see you and appreciates everything that you've done so far. So you made your name basically playing golf, but obviously you were very good at every sport that you ever tried. But you told me a story about how you got started playing golf.
Yeah, Billy asked me how did I get into it. Well, I was a tomboy and played about every sport there was. But it happened to be that I was in the car with my mom. She was running late to a golf clinic. She was going to be my Aunt Patsy at. My Aunt Patsy's here. They're chronically late. And she said, "I don't have time to take you home. You're just going to go with me to this golf clinic." So I went there, and the ladies were all hitting balls, and I was just sitting off to the side, bored to death. And my mom finally came over and gave me 3 golf balls and a club, and she said, "Just go over there and hit those." And so I walked down the way, and I dropped the ball, and I hit it dead straight in the air, and did the same on the second and the third. And the 2 pros there, named were Brian Main and Dan Politis, who's here, and they must have seen me out of the corner of their eye, and they walked down and they said, "Have you ever done this?" I said, "No." And they walked to my mom and they said, "We want to give your daughter lessons. She's going to be great." And that's how it started.
And you were how old then?
I was in 7th grade, so pretty neat.
So also when you were a junior high, you played some basketball.
I did. Played a lot of basketball. That was really my passion and my love. I took my basketball everywhere I went with me, which was, obviously very weird when you're a middle school girl, but I thought that would be the sport that I would excel at. But once I got to high school and I kind of realized, I'm 5'6" and I can't really jump, I picked up the golf clubs again, so.
But so when you went to Althoff High School, she graduated from Althoff, and there's many people here are Althoff grads, and anyway, so you go there as a freshman, right? And there's no girls golf team.
Yeah, when I got there was no girls team, so I had to try out for the boys team, which fortunately I made it, and I had a great group of guys. Scott Moore's here, Tim Riley's here. We all really just clicked, and they accepted me as just if I was just one of the players on the team. And we really pushed each other to get better at the game, and it was a great 4 years, and experiencing some success. I finished 3rd in state, 2nd in state, and then I was fortunate enough to win a state championship. So it was a great run for me. I had to compete individually when it came time to state, but playing with the guys through the year was just a great experience for me. It was really good memories.
Well, and when you were playing with the guys, what tees did you have to play?
I did play back with the blue tees or the black tees with the guys, which again, it just pushed me to get better and better. And I think that's one of the things that made me excel and kind of jump to the next level.
Yeah, it's sad. Now I got to play with Jill in a tournament recently, and I was hitting from the senior tees, and she was hitting from men's whites and still going by me about 60 yards. But so, one time you told me too a story about one time you had a score of 10,000.
This is true, and I don't know if the guys that are here remember this, but my very first high school big tournament, it was out at Cardinal Creek, Muscuda was hosting, and I was pretty nervous, wanted to try to make my mark, like I'm a girl playing in this tournament with all these boys, and I went out, and I actually did fairly well. I think I shot like a 79 or 80, not bad for a freshman, first time, and I, come in, and they're like, how'd you do? And I tell them, well, I think I did pretty well, put my scorecard in, and we're standing there, and all of a sudden there's a kind of a hubbub around the scorers table, and they're writing the scores down on their score sheets. Everybody's laughing, and we're like, what's happening? So we walked over, and my score posted was 10,852. And the guys looked at me, they're like, you shot a 79 or 80. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Well, apparently the boy that I was playing with that kept my score, he would write down my score, but in the upper right-hand corner, he was keeping tally marks of my putt. And I didn't see those. They were real small. So, for instance, if I got a par 5 with a 2-putt, I got a 511 on that hole. So, I'm pretty sure if you go look in the record books of the state of Illinois, I probably got the highest posted score in the history of IHSA golf.
So while you were in high school, all of a sudden you started getting noticed, and you started playing on some other smaller type tours, and like the Canada Tour, that kind of. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, I played locally and won a bunch of tournaments there, and even in the state of Illinois. But I kind of wanted to branch out and see how I was going to compete on a national level. So I kept trying to apply to get into what's called the AJGA, and they're kind of restrictive about who they let into their tournaments. And so it wasn't until I was going to be a senior in high school that I finally got accepted to play in a tournament up in Flint, Michigan. And school had just been let out, and I was pretty excited about going up there just to see how I would compete against girls from all over the country. And I remember I was at a party, and standing with my friend, and there was this guy that I liked. He was pretty cute. And he came over to me, and he said, well, what are you doing this weekend? And I said, oh, I'm actually leaving to go to this big golf tournament in Michigan to see if I can, try to play at that level. And he said, well, if you win, I'll take you out on a date. And I looked at my best friend, Julie, who's here. I looked at her and I said, I'm winning that damn golf tournament. And that guy's sitting right there. And you won that golf tournament. I won that golf tournament. And the cool thing about that, obviously, I got the date with my future husband. But it was pretty cool because I won the tournament, and when I got up to get my award, they announced that I was from Belleville, Illinois. Well, it just so happened that a young man who went to Belleville West, who I knew pretty well, and we had the same swing coach, he won the boys division, which is unheard of. We were competing against kids from 15 different states. And so when we got our trophy and we were up there, all these people looked at the scoreboard and said, where the hell is Belleville, Illinois?
So then you get recruited, you go to the University of Arizona, and the group that you were with came to be known as like the greatest women's golf team to ever play, right?
It is true. I had a great career, freshman, sophomore, junior year, but our senior year, we had a group of girls that were just phenomenal, and we clicked, and we had a blast playing together, and we were all competitive. We started our fall season. We won the first 3 tournaments, and then we actually got second in a tournament, and it really chapped our asses, I'm not going to lie. And we went out, and then we won the 5th tournament in the fall, and when we came back after break, we went on a tear, and we won 7 tournaments in a row. And when we won the 8th tournament in the spring, it set the record for the most consecutive wins in any NCAA golf tournament history. And it actually happened at Arizona State, which obviously was our big rival. And so we were pretty pumped about that. And we thought we were going to be hot stuff. And on the 18th hole, they took our photos. Well, we decided we're going to jump in the lake. And so on that 18th hole at Arizona State's home golf course, the 5 of us held hands and we jumped into the lake. And then when we plunged in and we came out, we realized, oh my God, this is reclaimed water. So the joke was on us. But, and then the next tournament, we ended up going to win the NCAA tournament up in Bend, Oregon, which is a fond memory of mine. My whole family got to come up and watch us play, and it was great.
So I was also told to ask you about Wake Forest.
So my parents, this was when I was just starting high school, they realized I was going to be fairly successful in the sport, but wanted to send me to a camp to go try to, compete again against other kids from across the country to kind of see where I was stacked up. So fortunately, they sent me to the camp. I had a great time. But the funny thing that sticks out in my mind about that camp is, we would play golf all day. And then at night, we'd grab a bite to eat, and then we'd hang out with all the guys. Well, there were only 4 girls at the camp. It was about 100 boys and 4 girls. And so one night, we played golf all day. We went down to the Union to grab a bite to eat at dinner. And when we were walking back, we happened to be walking past the football field, and we noticed a couple footballs were laying around. And a bunch of the boys said, hey, let's play a pickup football game. And I walked over, and I was like, well, I want to play. And they were like, you're not playing, you're a girl. And my friend Smudge Whitehead, she said, you should probably let her play. She's pretty good. So they said, fine, we'll let you play. And so they start picking teams, and I got picked dead last. Well, I went on. I had 4 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. And it was pretty cute. At the end of the week, I had bought a bucket hat, and I wanted kids to sign their names so I could kind of remember who was there or whatever. And this really sticks out in my mind. I hand my hat to this kid who I thought was pretty cute, when we're sign my hat. He signs, hands me the hat back, and I'm excited to look at it. And it says, play football, Lucas Glover. And he hands it back and he says, you're the best damn football player I ever met. And if you don't know, Lucas Glover won a U.S. Open championship a few years back. He's a hell of a golfer. So
Absolutely. So also while you were in Arizona, you were academic All-American.
That's true.
And so then you went on and you got your degree in
Finance.
And then now you've been teaching at Freeburg High School for years now. And
I have.
What all do you teach out there?
I teach calculus, geometry, and algebra 2.
You can't even spell it, much less teach it. So I just wanted to congratulate you on behalf of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame on your enshrinement, Jill, and we love you, and God bless you, and thank you once again, everybody, for coming in to cheer on Jill Gomric.
Thanks, everybody.
Jill Gomric Dalke.
You are us.
She's as good a storyteller as she was an athlete, huh? Well,